Spenser Confidential is a movie that came out on Netflix a few weeks ago starring Mark Wahlberg, Winston Duke, and, others. I didn't go into this movie with any expectations, really. That's a lie, okay? I didn't watch the trailers, but I did briefly look up, the ratings that people gave this movie. For the most part, they were 60%, 3 out of 5, so on. Generally a pretty average movie, and after watching it, yeah. This movie is not a cinematic masterpiece by any means, but it's also not the worst thing I've ever seen. This movie is just average in just about every way there is, which I mean, I don't mind. I enjoyed watching this movie. It's perfect for a casual viewing. If you're just hanging out one night, looking for something to watch, this is a good choice. It doesn't really require your full attention. You can probably put it on in the background while you're doing something else and get, most of it. You don't really need to get too invested in the characters, and the story is pretty easy to follow. From a story perspective, this movie is average. It's a pretty typical buddy cop story with enough action and entertaining scenes to keep your attention pretty easily. The movie does a pretty good job of introducing the conflict and explaining the backstory of the movie. Alright, so this dude was a police officer and he found out about some corrupt cops, so he tried to do something about it. He ended up in prison for a pretty good amount of time. It's nothing to laugh at. He was in there for a while. But now he's out and he's still trying to do something about it. Honestly, I don't think he learned his lesson. I don't think he's a very intelligent man. As I said, the story is average. There is a logical progression of events, I would say. We understand why things happen and the conclusion all adds up, but I wouldn't say it's worthy of any awards. From a character perspective, this movie is, average. The characters are likable, and we understand their motivations for doing things. One thing that I actually really enjoyed is how Spenser and Hawk interact. At first, they're not, they don't really like each other that much, but they end up, getting to know each other, and they're I see, I get it.
Maybe you and I, maybe we could get along after all.
There are a few pretty entertaining scenes with the two of them, which sort of illustrate how they work and operate together, and how they're, different from each other, and I enjoyed that because, this video's going well. So I liked the Spenser-Hawk dynamic, but for the most part, the characters make sense and they're likable enough. Again, just fine. Pretty average. Yeah. There is a pretty good amount of action in this movie, which I mean, hey, action is fun. The action in this movie is, average. There's nothing groundbreaking about the way it's shot, but it's also not super choppy, so you can actually understand what's happening on screen, which I personally appreciate. And all the action and fight scenes and all that fun stuff, they happen for a reason. They're not just wait, there's nothing cool happening.
We need a fight.
The action feels appropriate within the story, and there's a reason for it to happen. I would say, overall, pretty average. So, in case you haven't picked up on it already, I feel like this movie is pretty average. There's nothing incredible about it. It's not a spectacle. It's just fine. Again, it's perfect for just a casual viewing. If a movie critic is looking for true art, a true masterpiece, I don't know if this is the place to look. I feel like I haven't definitively said this yet, but I enjoyed watching this movie. I feel like this entire video is just me bashing on it, saying it's not noteworthy for anything. Dude, I do not know what this sound is. I don't even know if you guys can hear it, but it just sounds like someone is hitting a wall with the side of their fist. You know what I mean? It sounds actually, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like me playing Overwatch. Guys, I forget where I was in this script, and I can't be bothered to go back and listen because I am so productive. Alright guys, alright. I think I sort of found where it might make sense if I continue talking. I thought it was a pretty good time. I don't think I really learned anything from it, and I don't really think I'm a better person for having seen it, but I found it to be a pretty enjoyable viewing experience, and I mean, I didn't regret watching it, so yeah. At the end of the movie, they did set up a sequel, which I don't really mind. I'm not particularly for or against a sequel. I can live with or without it, so I mean, I guess that's cool. But yeah, if you haven't seen this movie and you're just kind of hanging out looking for something to watch, I would say give this a try. It's a pretty good way to kill 2 hours, so I mean, why not? If you guys have seen this movie, tell me what you think of it down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't, make sure to leave a dislike. Do whatever you want. I can't really stop you. My name's Quibs, and